Hello, folks. This is Kenny with Just the Right Angle here, doing my Wednesday 12:35 broadcast. You can catch me mainly on Rumble, which is my more preferred area because I'm already monetized on there. And then, of course, I am on YouTube. Keep Arkansas Legal. Podbean is also, you can find me on Rumble there. I do a live broadcast via Facebook. However, I'm not monetized there, so that's why I prefer people to find me on Rumble. Well, folks, lots of stuff going on. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the big issue that's on everybody's mind is these hurricanes and FEMA responses. You've seen the devastation in North Carolina and in other parts of the nation around that area. Do pray for them. Help those people. Probably the best organizations to donate is Samaritan's Purse or the Cajun Navy. These are groups that are not connected to government and haven't been involved in a lot of the failures that have gone on. Sadly, the Red Cross, which in its founding was a Christian organization, has really been caught. We saw this after 9/11 and really is not, at the very least, not efficient in terms of the way they distribute funds. And of course, the Federal Emergency Organization, FEMA, has been heavily criticized for giving billions, well, really millions, but this was just 2024, the amount of money they gave, 640.9 million funds to non-federal entities to offset a lot of the costs incurred for services associated with non-citizen migrant arrivals in their communities. This is a nice and fancy way of saying our government took your tax money and gave it to what they call NGOs, non-government organizations, to help illegal aliens. That's really what that really means. And so when FEMA announced that they may not have enough funds to help the victims of the storms, both the one that's happened and the one that's coming up, or any other disasters, because there's all kinds of disasters going on. There's fires in parts of California, and there's more disasters that come up at any moment. But they're saying now, FEMA is now saying they may not have enough money. Well, now you know the reason why. Now, by the way, this is, again, fiscal year 2024. 640.9 million. So you kind of figure if they gave even close to that last year, that's over $1 billion. So, and this lady here, this is Diva Peach Patriot Team America 2020 for posting this via Twitter X. Hopefully, I'll just do a follow here. I was looking for this earlier and found that. But yeah, anytime somebody posts something that's relevant, that's important, that the media should have told you but didn't, yeah, go ahead and follow them. And she's properly here sending this to Representatives Nancy Mace. I don't know who these other people are. Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I thought I was following Matt Gaetz, but sometimes, these people set up other accounts. So, yeah, go ahead and follow these people. And follow people like me because we're the ones that inform you of this. You're probably not going to see this on KRK4, THV11, Fox 16. You probably won't hear about this in most of media that you look at because it makes the government look bad. And that's the goal. They'll just say, oh, the government's broke. And by the way, when we get into debates over government shutdown and, oh, no, the money's going to run out. Well, now you know where the money's going. And by the way, this is just the federal level. I guarantee you your state is spending money on illegals and your city and your county are spending money on illegals. North Little Rock is giving IDs to illegals. Little Rock used to give IDs, and I don't know if they still do that or not. They're trying to push for a tax increase in November in Little Rock. I guarantee you there are illegals that are in some way, shape, or form, either they're getting some kind of discount regarding utilities, or they're getting some kind of either discount or regarding housing. There's some way in which your tax money is going to help people that shouldn't even be in the country. But again, and this is going to keep happening until we put people in power who will stand up to these government bureaucracies. Donald Trump at least made some effort to do that. He marketed himself as being someone that wasn't beholden to these special interests, both these bureaucracies and these organizations that oftentimes claim to be non-government but are actually heavily involved, these nonprofits that end up actually, we find out, donating millions of dollars to candidates on state and local levels. Now, here's somebody else who talked a little bit about the FEMA program. I'm going to go ahead and try and play this. It may not show up well on Ocean. If it doesn't, I'll try and find another way to play this here.
Hey guys, so I know I do a lot of like fun and like happy videos or whatever all the time, but so I'm here in Boone, North Carolina. I'm at the staging area. I volunteered myself and my canines to come up and do some search and rescue efforts. Here's the situation, okay? FEMA is in the area, and we've been told that if we see any FEMA agents, like hightail it and go. So obviously you see all my equipment. So we've been told to just like turn around and go the opposite direction, because what they're doing is they're confiscating everything. Like they would confiscate all of my gear, my car, my dogs, like literally everything. There are some people who have been tracking these FEMA agents and what they do with these supplies after. And these are people that are directly associated with the group that I'm volunteering with. And essentially what they're doing is they're taking these supplies to sanctuary areas for illegal migrants and giving it all to them. They are telling the locals here that they have no more money, that they can't give them any money, they can't do anything, but they are confiscating volunteer supplies as they come through, and they are giving it to people who are not legal within the country. Of course, it is very hush hush. Of course, they're saying that that's not what they're doing. I will tell you this. I was 11 years in the Coast Guard. I was in Puerto Rico before and during Maria and Irma. I was stationed there through all of that stuff. FEMA did the same stuff there, to the point where the Coast Guard, we did not work directly with FEMA because they were doing shady stuff. So we ended up loading a bunch of supplies and stuff and taking it around the island and delivering it. And we did the same thing after the earthquakes as well. They were confiscating supplies. They weren't issuing supplies. They mishandled money. They mishandled distribution of supplies, and the locals suffered for it. And they are doing the same thing in North Carolina. This is not a joke. This is not a conspiracy theory. Like this is not false information. Like I'm here, I'm boots on the ground. We are actually about to go and fly into a different area via helicopter. We're going to go to the airport, load up the dogs, and we're going to fly into a different area where families are missing. But the initial meetup point was the Boone area. As far as families missing and stuff right now, Boone is clear. So we've been given new coordinates to go to a different area. But yes, FEMA is here, and they are doing really, really sketchy, shady stuff. So take that information for what you will. This is this information that needs to get out to the news media. This is the information that needs to get out. And honestly, if FEMA is not going to do their job, and I'm not saying that all of the FEMA agents, because I know a lot of canine handlers that are part of FEMA that are doing what they're supposed to be doing. However, why are we confiscating supplies? Why are we taking supplies from people that are coming in to help and have experience and can do the job, and then giving it to illegals and not?
So folks, there you go. That's another example. There's all kinds of examples of this. What is this lady here? I'm trying to give her credit here. Megs Bacon on TikTok for posting that and for all the work that she's doing. But there's people like this all over. And you shouldn't be surprised. Our government's been doing this policy for decades now. Giving money to illegals, giving money to corrupt governments, taking our tax dollars and putting illegals above the health and safety of we the people. Well, we have so many deaths caused by illegal aliens. If you know of angel families, you know what I'm talking about. And here in Arkansas, which is supposed to be a red Trump super super majority Republican state. We just had an illegal alien kill someone not a few days ago. Actually, it was someone that worked at Arkansas Children's Hospital. And that's actually a segue into the next story. Arkansas Children's Hospital, most of the people that work there are great folks. Certainly, if someone were sick, that'd be the place to go. But sadly, they have a policy that some of their administration does that is just should have never been allowed. And Doc Washburn first talked about this on 101.1 FM The Answer yesterday, along with details regarding UAMS. And this is his post. You can listen to him on 101.1 FM The Answer. But it turns out that the state of Arkansas, and this is the website that has information, stoptheharmdatabase.com, they are doing sex changes and hormone and puberty blockers on children. And you can see the numbers there. And it's only a few, but it's a few too many. And here's actually another post from the same website. This is by Michael Bandenfield. Arkansas children. 25 children that have been abused, that have been permanently damaged, that are probably more likely to commit suicide or cause harm to other people because of a junk science known as transgender surgery that is done on children. And as you see here, the post from other people, yes, there was an effort in the state legislature to ban this. However, that effort was sabotaged. It was stopped. And the reason you need to be concerned is that the people that stopped that effort are still running the Republican Party behind closed doors, like globalists. Matter of fact, Randy Zook of the Arkansas Chamber of Commerce, who uses a lot of his money and influence to control the Arkansas legislature, was testified against this bill, then joined the ACLU in the lawsuit to block this bill. And of course, since we have judges in Little Rock, in particular Pulaski County, that are leftists, they put a stay on this. And so it's been a legal fight since then, but it's been a legal fight with us, with people that want conservative values and children protected on the defense, because the Arkansas legislature keeps funding judges like Chris Piazza and Tim Fox. I can't remember which one of those made the ruling, but I know it was one of them that ended up basically allowed this type of barbaric procedure to take place. Now, I actually did some footage of this, and I'll never forget this. When I saw this, this has to be focused in on. These are the people that are running Arkansas Children's Hospital, or at least some of it. If I can find this here, it's actually on my Rumble page. It's one of my more popular videos. It's of one, I believe her name is Natalie Burr. And she was called to testify regarding this type of procedure. And she was asked a pretty simple question. Okay, I have it up now. I'm gonna go ahead and play this for you here. This is actually on the Keep Arkansas Legal Rumble page, but it should be on Rumble as well. If not, I'll put it on there. Here, I'll go ahead and play this for y'all to listen to.
Old or 2-year-old? How do you think?
I think that 1 and 2-year-olds developmentally generally do not have an understanding of what gender is at all.
Okay, so I think that's my point. You agree that there's an age that's not appropriate. I also agree that there's an age that's not appropriate. We're just now debating on what age is appropriate. So you're somewhere around 4 and I'm somewhere around 18. But we have the same belief that there is an age that it's appropriate and not appropriate for the decision to be made.
No, I think that a decision is made over time with input from family and professionals. I do not think there's a line in the sand when a child's gender identity is determined and it's forever that. I think that that is something that needs to be discussed with appropriate professionals and not decided on by policymakers or legislators.
But at 1 or 2 years old, that decision should not be made on behalf of that child.
Correct.
So again, we agree on that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So yeah, credit to Senator Bart Hester for bringing up that question. That's why we need more Republicans in our legislature. Democrats, by the way, wholeheartedly support this agenda, that this LGBTQ pedophile indoctrination of children. Of course, we've seen that with the library fights, but sadly, a lot of Republicans have caved in on this as well. Matter of fact, former Republican Governor Asa Hutchinson vetoed the SAFE Act, the act that prevented this barbarism on orders from Randy Zook and others. We overread the veto, but then, as I said before, it's in a court battle. So yes, we do need the reform of the Republican Party, but at the moment, voting is actually a month away from now. Early voting is going to start in a few days. Generally speaking, you need to vote Republican on all levels. Because again, not just in the federal level, but the state and local level. If you need to find out if it's oftentimes with justices of the peace and city council, they're nonpartisan, you'll have to go to your county committee and ask and find out which one's the Republican. Number one, because city officials do have a say on things like the libraries, like some of the policies regarding this. And oftentimes, those justices of the peace later on run for other positions like state legislature, like even the federal level. A lot of U.S. senators and U.S. congressmen were at the one time justices of the peace or, city council members. It happens a lot. So yeah, if you want to protect the kids, you need to find out who's running the country, and you need to hold them accountable. All of the Democrat Party and some part of the Republican Party are for that agenda. They either support it or they are wanting to let that happen. There's already 25 kids that we know of that are going to be permanently damaged because the Republican supermajority legislature, again, we have for 3 sessions now, we've had a Republican supermajority. That means Republicans could pass any funding bill, and if every Democrat said no, it wouldn't matter. We've had a Republican governor. We've had a Republican attorney general, all the other constitutional positions. And yet somehow this abuse of children, this transgender surgery is happening in this reddest of red states. Well, part of the problem is, of course, is corruption. And that leads to my final topic for today. Now, this is done, I first saw this in the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, but the Democrat Gazette requires a subscription. And you don't need to subscribe to the Democrat Gazette, folks. You can bypass them. This news outlet that did show their names was to the Arkansas Times. Now, these are leftists. They are, matter of fact, these are the ones that pushed for this Obamacare Medicaid expansion. And of course, they wanted even more government involvement. But at least they are honest enough to admit some of the names involved in this. A former executive of a Missouri-based healthcare company at the center of a sprawling bribery scandal, 5 years probation. Should get jail time. Robin Ravidram, former director of operations of Preferred Family Health Care. Now, this is the organization. If you type in their name, there were a lot of people that were involved in Obamacare Medicaid expansion, which is a side note. There's a lot of people that are upset about out-of-state folks affecting Arkansas policy. I know with the paper ballots issue, there's an issue regarding out-of-state canvassers. Out-of-state canvassers had nowhere near the effect of what Preferred Family Healthcare did regarding our policy. And the millions that are spent on out-of-state lobbyists or by organizations on in-state consultants. This dwarfs any kind of policy changes done by any other organization. The Arkansas Obamacare Medicaid expansion was the largest expansion of government in Arkansas history. And now we have several thousand people that are on it that shouldn't be. And at the same time, there's people that need help from it that can't get the help because there's so much red tape. I'm going to drop some names here, names that you should know about. One of them is, of course, Jeremy Hutchinson, who is the nephew of Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, who should be in prison for this, but he got away. So, yeah, Jeremy Hutchinson's in prison. This Robin guy, I'm not going to say his last name, should be in there with him, but he's not. Of course, Governor Asa Hutchinson is now, he was last seen hanging out with at the National Democrat Convention, the DNC convention, where they elected Kamala Harris as their presidential candidate. The Arkansas Times does bother to mention at least one Democrat that was involved in this scandal, Eddie Wayne Cooper. There were a lot of other people that were involved in this that should have been jailed but aren't. So we're going to have an election in November. Deadline to register is already passed. Generally speaking, vote Republican. There may be one or two races where a libertarian might be better. I know that there's a guy named Michael Pacco who's running for treasurer, and he seems to be sharper. I would love to see the debate on there, or I'd like to see a real debate. By the way, the Arkansas PBS debates are a joke because they're of course, 2-minute sound bites, and it's cookie cutter questions. And of course, no input from the public. I did live stream one, but even I got bored with it. And I'm actually someone who's, trying to keep up with what's going on, and is deliberately designed to get people not to care. So, yeah. I mean, you can watch them. And like I said, you can watch my live stream of it. But folks, you're going to have to confront these people on your own. You will not get informed of what's going on, and it's designed that way. So anyway, catch me at Just the Right Angle while I do updates on issues that affect you. Like, share, and comment. I do not have any updates on what's going on with the Republican Party of Arkansas ignoring the rules in regards to open or closed primaries. That's still at least one lawsuit that I know of that's involved, that a lot of people had no chance to sign up for. There's, of course, a lot of division going on within various Republican county committees. Some of these issues are part of that. But for the moment, you're going to need to help, especially people on a lower level. And again, I always say this, ask if they're having a consultant, ask them which consultant firm that candidate is working for, or that they've hired. If it's impact management, don't volunteer for them. Do not volunteer or donate time or money to the Republican Party of Arkansas itself, because that's, as a moment, as I said before, their leadership is deliberately ignoring the rules regarding the state convention and the closing of primaries, as well as the election of our winter committee. Find candidates that need help, that are genuinely grassroots people. Usually it's going to be a justice of the peace or a city council person, and help them. And then after the election, We need to work on, of course, the Republican Party of Arkansas Winter Committee meeting, and then legislation for the upcoming session. But other than that, you all have a great day. I'm actually going to work on a project for somebody that is running for office, and then do some more editing here for this to be available for recording. Again, Just the Right Angle on Rumble, Podbeam, Keep Arkansas Legal on YouTube, and find a way to get involved. You all have a great day.